A Barclays strategist report warned that weight loss drugs such as Ozempic could threaten the fast food industry, and even proposed buying credit default swaps on big names including McDonald's and Pepsi. In other words, short McDonald's credit. The report added that these drugs could affect a number of other industries. For example, anecdotal evidence suggests Ozempic dampens our addictive relationship with alcohol and cigarettes, which could weaken demand at companies like Altria and Constellation Brands. Barclays additionally recommends credit protection against healthcare companies such as HCA and Boston Scientific, which generate significant revenue treating weight-related health issues. Scott, this is a fascinating one. What do you make of this?
So Goldman Sachs put out a report saying that they think AI technologies will increase GDP 1.2% a year because of increases in productivity. The Milken Institute estimates that obesity-related costs in the United States are $1.7 trillion a year. It's everything from diabetes to hip replacements to depression to the additional fuel it takes to fly a plane with obese people on it. That it's a $1.7 trillion drag on the economy each year. And if you think of the economy as being $25 trillion, you're talking about 6.8% in costs that could potentially be reduced 50, 70, 90%. So if you want to talk about something that's accretive to the economy, you know, everyone's talking about AI, but this drug, specifically the ability to take America's populace from 40% obesity rates, say down to 10 or 5, or who knows, maybe even 0 or near 0. I think you're talking about something that has 2 to 4 times the impact on the economy as AI. So I think this is the biggest business story of the year. Novo Nordisk, the pharma company behind Ozempic and Wegovy, became the most valuable company in Europe this September, surpassing LVMH. I don't know what kind of IP protection, but I think they could become one of the most valuable companies in the world. At $400 billion, it's worth almost as much as Denmark's annual GDP. This past quarter, Novo Nordisk, I'm just going to call it N2, added 2% to Danish economic growth. N2 trades at 14 times sales compared to Johnson & Johnson, which trades at 4 times, Merck at 4.5 times, and AbbVie, which trades at 4.7 times. And I would argue that's even cheap. I mean, as crazy as that thing is, I think it's going to go up more. More than 750 million people live with obesity, and the disease causes 5% of deaths globally. And it's exponentially more in the U.S. because I don't know if you've noticed this. If you've ever been to Disneyland, we are ridiculously fat as a people. We're obese physically and mentally and emotionally. A different talk show. Individuals on Ozempic lose on average 11% of their body weight over 6 months. The drugs also reduce the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and cardiovascular deaths by 20%. I even saw some data saying that people on Ozempic reduce their drinking by 60%. I just think this is going to change everything, Ed. I'm very excited. 73% of Americans are overweight or obese. I think 3 in 4 people are overweight or obese. And it's not just obese people. I know people who aren't obese who are taking this thing because they can't lose that extra 20 or 30 pounds. Morgan Stanley predicts 24 million people, that's 7% of the U.S. population, could be taking GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic by 2035. And according to research, each patient will register on average a 24% reduction in total calorie intake per day. Collectively, that's a 22 billion calorie reduction intake per day, equivalent to over 36 million Big Macs that won't be eaten. If McDonald's sold 36 million